Hi guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the U.S. Well, today I've got another bundle to share with you that's on sale during March. You've got till March 31st of 2022 to get it. It's called the Garden Wishes Bundle, and it includes the Garden Wishes stamp set and the Dandy Wishes dies, and I'll show you those here in just a minute. But here's the card, and I'm also using the New Horizons Designer Series paper. That gives us this beautiful scenery behind there, and that's in the January to June mini catalog. So if you'd like to stamp along with me, just look down in the video description and click on that blog post link below, and that's where you'll find the supply list and all the dimensions you need to make this card. So let's go and get started. Okay, first off, I want to show you the bundle. It includes the Garden Wishes stamp set and the Dandy Wishes dies. These are not usually available as a bundle. They're in the annual catalog, and when you purchase them separately, they're $57. But during March of 2022, you purchase these as a bundle and you save 20%. So instead of $57, you're going to spend $45.50. Really good deal. So you want to hurry because this ends March 31st, 2022. Now, to stamp along with me, the stamps you're going to need this stamp here, and you're going to need Made with Love for a True Friend, and the little bee stamp. Now, with the dies, we're going to use these two large ones right here, if I can get a hold of them. So those two dies. You're going to want all three of these, so get those dies. And you're going to want to get one of the bees. There are two of them. You'll just need one of them. And you'll want these two leaves right here. And those are all the dies that we're going to need. Okay, first off, we're going to get some stamping done. So we're going to grab a piece of basic white. This is a 3 by 1 inch piece. Grab your soft succulent and the Made with Love for a True Friend stamp. We're going to ink this up with the soft succulent and then stamp it in the middle of the piece, like so. So we've got that ready to go. And then you're going to want to grab one of the 4 by 5 1/4 inch pieces. We'll go ahead and keep the soft succulent ink pad out. And I want you to get this stamp out. We'll ink it up with the soft succulent. And then we're going to stamp it in the bottom left corner. And then we only have one more thing to stamp. We need to grab the piece of basic white that's 6 inches by 3.5. And we're going to grab, let's see, we're done with the succulent for right now. We're just going to leave it open because we'll need it again here in a minute. Then we've got our tuxedo black memento. And we're going to ink up the bee and just stamp it here in the bottom left corner. Don't worry about it being straight or anything. We're going to die cut that. And while we've got it there, let's go ahead and grab the Bumblebee Stampin' Right marker. And I'm going to color in the parts, the little stripes here that should be yellow. And that's all we're going to need to do with that. And that is all the stamping we need to do. Let's go ahead and get our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out. Okay, like I said, this is the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It is a lot smaller, as you can see. Usually when I use my big one, it covers up almost the whole screen. But this one is a small one. It also folds up like the old one, but it is 20%, and the big one, and it is 20% off this month too, along with that bundle I just told you about. So this is normally $60, and you can get it for $48 from now until March 31st, 2022. So, and you also get all the plates you need with the kit. You get the two that you need for embossing, and then these are the ones, and this one is used for everything, and then your standard cutting plates for die cutting. Now, we're not going to be doing any embossing today, but I did want to show you what the embossing folders look like. These are, this is the Stripes and Splatter set, I think is what it's called. It's in the January to June mini catalog, but you always get two embossing folders that go together, and they fit perfectly into our machine. Okay, we're going to die cut with this today. So I'm going to get the base plate number 1. So this is what you always put at the bottom. Then the standard cutting plate. We're going to grab that 3.5 by 6 inch piece of basic white. 3.5 inches is the largest you want to go. I definitely wouldn't go any larger than this because it barely fits on the standard cutting plate as it is. Now I'm going to put this die right here. You just always look for this little part of the die that's sticking out. That's for the antenna, and that helps you line it up better. Now I'm going to put this down. I want to make sure I get this tape on here good so it doesn't move, making sure I get tape inside that center too. That way he won't move on me. And I think we can add a couple more on here. We'll lay this down. Actually, since this paper fits on that standard cutting plate, we can go ahead and do all of these at once. So I'm going to put this one down here. Then we've got this one. And then we've got these three right here. I think I'll put that little one right there. And we've got one more here. Actually, let's put this down here. It gives it a little more room. You don't want them too close together because sometimes that does hurt the die cutting. But I'm making sure I'm not right on the edge of the paper because I want to make sure these are all on that standard cutting plate so we get the right pressure. Then you put another one right on top. And then we're going to run this through. Love this little machine. And I'm holding this down right now because I don't want these other dies that I did not tape down to fall off. There we go. Once I get that last one in, then I can hold on to this like usual. So we got all of those die cut in one fell swoop. So here are the little flowers. So these all go together, as you can tell. So we're going to put these over to the side. We've got our little bee. Let me get him off with the tape. So he die cut really good. Okay, put him in here. And then we want to take this guy out. Now this one you kind of have to play around with because it is a little intricate up here at the top. And sometimes I have a little trouble, and I think it's my die. This one little section right here does not like to cut. Let's see if I can get this off of here. I can take my paper. Oh no, it came out just fine. Good. It didn't work very good the first time I used it. It came out with no problem that time. There we go. So there's that one. Oh, out of the screen. Sorry about that. I think I've got my camera in a different spot than I usually do. Okay, so we'll get all of these dies out of the way. And we've got a little bit more die cutting to do, and then we're done. So I'll bring this little guy back in here again. Get it set up for die cutting. And I'm getting a little piece of soft succulent. It's a strip. This one is a 6.5 by 1.5. And we're going to have to do this one a couple times because we only had one set of these leaves. So I'm going to lay these here. Make sure I'm in the screen. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep getting out of the screen, don't I? Put this here. Put this on top. And we'll run them through. And then we're going to do one more set. Oops. Have my dies flying everywhere. And I love these, how they've got some detail to them too. Can you see the lines in there? It's pretty cool. So we're going to do this one more time. Bring this back in. Bring these in. So we want one more set of these. Put this on top. Run it through. And we will be all done with our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So we got everything die cut. So let's go ahead and finish this card. Okay, I want you to grab this die here, die cut here, and the three that go along with it. And we're going to dress these up a little bit. So I'm going to grab the polished pink ink pad, open it up, and I'm going to grab a sponge dauber that I use for this color. Now I'm going to lightly go over these centers and go out a little bit. I want the middle to be a little darker, and then I'm going out on the petals to make them like a light pink, okay? That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to do the same thing with these, get that center darker, but then go out a little bit lighter to use a lighter touch for the little petals. And if you leave a little white on the ends, that is fine. That actually goes with the look I'm going for. So this one, get that center. The small one, you just kind of dab up and down, and then go lighter on the petals again, because that center is kind of small. And then we'll do this one. Get that center, and then go really light on those petals. If you feel like you need to add a little more, go right ahead. That looks pretty good to me. Now, I didn't want this to stay white, so I'm going to grab my soft succulent and another sponge dauber. Get this one over here so I don't get them mixed up. And I'm just going to take this and brush along the stem till it looks the way I want it. I kind of liked how it can have little different shadings on it. So that's what you want that to look like, okay? Now we're going to grab, let's put these to the side. Let's grab this one here, if I can get a hold of it. This one, we're just going to use the soft succulent. And I'm going to make this bottom part green and get that stem green. So they're going to be around the same shading. And I think I'm going to just go a little bit lightly on here, just a little bit, bring up a little bit of the green, not a lot, because I still want a lot of the white showing on this one. So that's what you want this to look like. So that's all the sponging we need to do. Okay, I've got my cutter out because I wanted to show you how I did this background. Now I started off with one of the 6x6 inch pieces. This is a 6x6 inch pack of the New Horizons DSP, and I cut it in half. So this is 6 inches, so I cut it at 3 inches here, and this is what I come up with here. But I only want it to be 3 1.5 inch pieces, so that equals up to 4.5 inches. So I don't need this whole thing. I thought this was a little too much green, so what I did, I'm going to go ahead and just cut off 1 inch down here at the bottom. Okay. And this can be kept, because you can use this other side too for another card. Now that I've got this ready, I want this to be a 1.5 inch strip. So I'm going to line this up. This goes, here on the right side goes all the way to 1.5 inches. So I'm going to do it this way since I've got it in the cutter like this. And cut. So there's one. Then we've got another 1.5 inch piece. So I'm going to line it all the way back over here. And cut. Put them over here, that way you can see them. And then we'll do another 1.5 inch one right here. So then you're going to have a little 1/2 inch strip, but you can use that for something else. So that is giving us the look that I'm going to go for on the card. Okay, let's grab that last piece of basic white. This is a 4x5 1/4 inch piece, and we're going to grab these guys. I'm going to lay them down here. Get them to where they look good to me. I'm actually going to be putting the top and bottom ones on first. So I kind of like the width like this for those. So I'm going to grab my seal. I'm going to start with the bottom one. Put some adhesive on here. And I want to make the bottom and right borders of the white to be about the same. Okay. Then I'm going to turn this over, because I think it's easier. I can see this better. I'm going to take this top one. Make sure the yellow stays on the top when you go to put this down. You want it to match up kind of in between. Okay. I'm going to keep this here just so I can kind of line up this here. Okay. So now I want this top and left side to have. So actually, look from here, it looks like the bottom. It's actually the top. Make these be about the same. Make sure it's straight. Then I will go and put this one on. And kind of look at this colors. I can tell there's more of a pinkish down here, more of a pale papaya color up here. So I know it's going to go on like this. So I just center this one in between the two pieces that I've already got on there. I think it's a lot easier to go with the end ones and put that down. So that is how I got that look. Isn't that neat? I love this paper, and I think separating them a little bit just gives it another look that you can go for. Okay, now let's go ahead and bring these guys in. I'm going to bring in my silicone craft mat. Whenever I use glue, that's what I like to do. Now I am going to use glue here. You could use the seal. I think this is a little easier to use the glue to get them all lined up. So I'm going to take this larger of the 3 die cuts here, put a little bit here in the center, just to the center. I'm not going to bother. I don't want actually any on the petals. And then we're going to put this on here in the center, but I'm going to have the petals be in between the petals of the big one. Okay, so get that where it looks good. The nice thing with the glue, you can kind of slide it a little bit, but then once you get pressure on it and let it sit there for a minute, it's on there for good. So I will take the next larger one that we have left, put a little bit of glue on here, just that center section. And once again, this time we're going to have these petals going between the top one. Oh, there we go. I wasn't getting them lined up very well. I'm at an angle. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Hold that on till it looks good to you. And then we're going to take this small one, put a little bit of glue there, and do the same thing. Have the one that's on the top right now, put the petals in between those. Put that near the center. And then we've got this really neat flower. Isn't that pretty? Now I'm going to go and flip some of these up, but let's wait a little bit to make sure that glue takes hold. But I thought it needed a little center to it. So I grabbed the 2021 to 2023 in color jewels. As you can tell, I've used some of these. And I wanted to use the pale papaya color. So these are soft succulent, fresh freesia, evening evergreen, pale papaya, and polished pink. So I thought I'd take one of the large of the pale papaya and just put that right in the center. We need a little bling on that flower. Okay. Now this one here, you could put a bunch of these little ones on here if you wanted to, but I didn't want to use all my jewels up because that would be a lot of them. So I decided to get my Shimmery Crystal Effects out. I haven't used this for a long time. I thought, I got to get this out. So I'm just going to put a little dot on each of these. Now, if yours is thickening up like mine, you just kind of play with it. You don't want to have a big tail. There we go. That's better. So I'm just putting a little dot. They're actually going to look like little enamel dots put on them once it dries. So you have little bumps. But it just gives a little more dimension to these. And it makes them look really neat. So you're almost making your own little embellishments here. So we just keep squeezing, get little dots here. Almost done. There, yeah, it's working a lot better now that I've gotten down into the bottle a little more. And one more right here. And it dries pretty fast, but we'll go ahead and put this over to the side for right now. And that is all we need to do with the flowers. So let's go ahead and grab, help if I picked up the right lid. I was putting on my take your pick tool thing on there. Okay, now we will bring this back in. Let's go ahead and put this on our card base. So we'll grab a piece of polished pink. This is a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece. I'm going to fold this in half, get the corners lined up, get my bone folder, get this folded really nice, and then we'll go ahead and tack this on top. So I'm going to put in my seal in the corners, some on the long ends, and then just put this right here in the center. I'm wanting to have that white strip on the left. It's okay to do it the other way, but this is just the way I did it. You can always change it up. You don't have to do it just like mine. Okay, now we will grab this, and I'm going to be putting this on here like so. Now, since I don't want this to be flying over different places, so I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue again. I'm just going to put here in the center part again. And I'm going to put a little bit here, not a lot, on my stem. And if I get any that's a little too big, it's okay. What I can do, I can tell I've got a couple blobs that are a little bit too big. You can take this and kind of tap it on your silicone mat, and that'll take away some of them. So we were going to put this on here. I'm going to have it up here near the top, angle it a little bit. Now it is hanging over here a little bit, and I'll show you what to do here in just a second, but we've got that on there. Now we're going to go ahead and put this one on. Now these are probably not real dry yet. Oh, they're doing pretty good. Yeah, they're doing pretty good, but I don't want to smash them down, so I'm going to kind of hold it up here a little bit. Put a little bit of glue here. Ooh, that's a little globby. Put some along the stem again. And in case it got a little too much, I'm going to pop it down on here, just take off a little bit of that glue. And with a silicone mat, once this dries, it'll peel right off, so I don't have to worry about any glue staying on there. Turn this around. We have them crisscross a little bit, but I wanted this one to be a little bit lower than that. So that looks pretty good. Now, I didn't bother to put any on these little pieces here because I thought that looked better. They kind of look like they're up in the wind a little bit. Gives a little more dimension. Now, we don't want these hanging on here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this. I'm going to cut right along the white cardstock. There we go. And that looks perfect. Looks like they're past the white just a little bit, but I actually like that look. I think it looks better being off of it just a little bit, but it's still not coming off the edge of the card base, which is what we want. So now we're going to grab the leaves, Now, one thing, I thought the leaves went like this because I thought these little veins should be going up. When you look at this, they're actually going down. But I kind of liked the look of this better with what I was going for. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them on like so. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here on these bottom ones. Okay? Maybe a little bit on this one. And this one is going to line up about here. I want them to be able to show underneath my greeting. Hold that down. And I kind of like I did with this, I kind of like this hanging up a little bit. So that's why I didn't put any glue on that. Then we'll take another large one. Like I said, if you want to look just like the stamped version, you can do it like this. But I kind of liked having those on top. Put a little glue on here like so, just on the bottom part. Angle this. I don't want it to come off the card. There we go. So I kind of moved it around a little bit till it was back on the card base. And then we're going to put these on. Now I'm doing this. I'm going to put this one down here. So it's kind of angled like this. And this one's going to go on and kind of be angled like that. Okay. So put a little glue. I'm just going to do it on the bottom once again with this, like I did. Okay. Bring this one like this. It's almost going to crisscross a little bit on this one here on the stem, which is fine. Then we'll take this one, put them on the bottom again. This one I'm going to line it up with this leaf. I think I'm even going to bring it down a little bit because I don't want it covering this one up too much. There we go. Okay, with these not being lined up perfectly because we're going to cover that up. Okay, so we've got those ready to go. Go ahead and close up my glue because we're done with that. I'm going to grab my greeting, and this one I'm going to put on with dimensionals. So let me grab these. I'm going to put one on each end, and then since this is a little bit long, I'm going to go ahead and put one in the middle too because I don't want that caving in on me. Grab my take your pick tool again, get all the papers off. So I'll scoop these up, and then I can just take them all off at once. And then I'm going to line the left edge of my greeting with the left edge of the white cardstock. So get that straight. It's covering up the bottom of my leaves. I've got a little bit of the leaf showing down here, I think, but I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, yeah, it looks fine. So we've got those on. Then I thought that little bee will look perfect right here. So we can use glue dots, but since I've got my glue out, I'm just going to go ahead and grab it. Put a little bit of glue on his body. And I'm going to have him go like this. There we go. And then I'm going to grab my little jewels because I thought, oh, we need some more jewels here. So I'm going to put a couple of the soft succulent ones up here. I'm going to use a big one. Let's put it about right here. Oh, I'm out of the picture. I am so sorry. And then the little one. I hope I didn't do that other times in the video. I've been forgetting to look. So there we go. And then I'm going to grab a small pale papaya. I used a large one here. And we'll just put a little one right there. So we have got the front of the card all done. Let's grab this one. And I thought, this is the inside. I thought that looks a little plain, just stamping it with the green. So I'm going to grab my polished pink again and my sponge dauber. And we're going to color this in kind of like we did with this one. I'm going to have the middle be a little darker and then go a little lighter on the outside. Just to get a little color in there. Okay. And I thought, oh, might as well do those leaves too. So we'll grab our soft succulent ink pad and grab the sponge dauber. I'm going to do it a little bit of an angle, but if I get outside the lines, that's okay. I kind of like it. And I'm leaving the very edges a little white. So this is just to give it a little more color and have like a little aura to it. So there, we've got that ready to go. So we'll grab our adhesive and get this tacked on the inside. And then we have one more thing to do with the flower on the front of the card. I thought we'd go ahead and get this on quick. So there is the inside of our card. Now remember this one I said we wanted to pop up a little bit. So now that it's glued on pretty good, I'm just taking my finger and popping these up a little bit. All these little petals. and it gives a little more dimension. You can even do a couple of them at the same time. And I'm just going to leave the big base one flat to keep it at the form of the flower. See if I can get a hold of this one. There we go. Just kind of fluff it around till it looks good to you. And separate the layers a little bit. But see, that doesn't give that some really neat dimension. It really makes it look like a flower. So I hope you enjoyed this one. And don't forget to get the Garden Wishes bundle. You'll save 20% if you get it by March 31st. And if you like that mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you'll save 20% on that too. So I hope you enjoyed today's card. Now, if you'd like to stamp with me again, just click that subscribe button below in the bottom right corner. And then when the bell icon pops up, click on that and select all. That way YouTube will notify you every time I upload a video. And if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. And I've got 2 of the current catalogs right now. The annual catalog, now this one ends pretty soon, and the mini catalog that ends at the end of June. If you just click that contact me link below in the video description and send me your mailing address, I'll get these mailed out to you right away. So always send your first set for free. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you had a lot of fun. And please support my channel by giving me a thumbs up or commenting below. I really do appreciate it. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.